Howdy once again, it's tubalcain, and this is episode number 24 of my This and That series, and today is New Year's Eve 2016, and I'm getting ready for a new year, and I have a lot of ideas and projects going, and let me just review a few things I have here, and thank you ever so much for making my channel a success. I recently completed these little vices here, so there's 9 videos on that. I will soon release a video on these tap followers and how to make that, blueprints for all of this stuff coming from Tolly. The bell center punch was just released, and not all the videos are done yet. Notice that I release them over about a 2-day period because I have all the editing and final work to do. And then a wiggler is coming up as well, how to make a wiggler, how to use a wiggler and all of that. And as far as my What Makes It Work series is concerned, I have one coming up on how an automatic center punch works, where I reveal and show how it works by way of this cutaway in slow motion. Also today, many viewer appreciation gifts and other comments, so stand by. This is going to be a rather long video. Hope you like it, and continue to watch me in this new year. Out of the clear blue sky, I received several boxes from Amazon.com, given to me by the name of a man by the name of Paul, and this just came yesterday. And I don't know why, but there was 4 packages altogether, because I guess it gets shipped from different areas. But I think he heard me talk about hacksaw blades and coolants and different things like that. But he sent me 3 packs of Lennox Blades. Now Lennox Blades I noticed are still made in USA. So there's some, these are 12 inches. There's 18, 24, and 32 teeth. The most popular, I guess, hacksaw blades there are. And do not forget how important and how useful sharp hacksaws are. They're just wonderful. But a lot of people don't want to do anything by hand. Then in another package the same day came this tube here of Lube. Now I never heard of that, but it's licensed by Boeing, and it's a waxy type substance about the consistency of men's deodorant, Sure brand. And I'm going to be using that. You'll see me use that in different videos. I guess that's available in different sizes, even a 5-gallon bucket. I didn't know Boeing had things like that. And this is Bow Shield T9 in an aerosol can, rust and corrosion protector, and supposedly real good to prevent rust on projects. And you know, I have trouble with rusting with the belt with lead alloy or 12L14 stock, really rust, so I'm going to start using that. And then finally, he sent me a Niagara cutter, 3/8 diameter, tin coated, and that's a roughing cutter. So that'll be mighty useful as well. So thank you, Paul, for all of those wonderful gifts, and straight to me from Amazon. Not to dwell on this bell center punch, and I hope you people enjoy this. I know that very few of you will build this, and of course the purpose is to punch a hole in the center of round stock. And why would you do that? Well, you probably wouldn't. It is an archaic tool, admittedly. But in the 1930 South Bend Works catalog, you know, they offered many projects, but they had that as a project. And by the way, these are the tips numbers for this project. But then the same day, a man by the name of Sam, his Science Lab Sam, sent me this picture from the 1922 Popular Mechanics, and their version of it, or Charles Homewood out of Ontario, California. Well, he'd be long dead. Oh, he's probably been dead for 80 years. But he shows one, it looks like it's split like a banana peel, or a shotgun fired by Yosemite Sam, for square stock. I don't think I'm going to build one of those because it's so easy to find the center of square stock, but this one can be used for square stock as well. And there was much discussion about this, that it needs to be presented to the work perfectly square or you're going to be off center. But let's face it, this is a semi-precision tool. It's not a precision tool. So, all right, enough about the Bell center punch. One of my most popular videos in the How Does It Work series was number 13, and that was on this coaster brake. So quite a few people like that. Take a look if you haven't already. And in another video, I showed this as a teaser. This is an Italian bayonet, as far as I know. It's unmarked, but I just thought it was so neat. I've had it for many years. It could be used as a knife, you know, around the campfire, I suppose, when the soldiers were camping. And by pushing that button, it locks into the open position. Got the blood groove on both sides. The little mechanism here for fixing it to the gun. So I thought this was such an awesome gun, awesome bayonet. And then it locks. So I present that for your approval. Now, Doug Bollinger sent me this, and remember I had a video recently on lubricating the South Bend lathe, and I talked about all the different kinds of lubes, A, B, C, D, and so on. But there was a nice chart that I showed in regards to lubricating the 9-inch lathe. Well, there's the PDF file if you want to look that up. I don't have a link for you, and that's a long, pause your video so you can read that. And then also there was a forum discussing all of the different kinds of lubes and the converting them to common oils. And there was a long discussion on that, maybe more than what we need, because any oil, I had said, is better than no oil. But there are specific oils, but they're hard to get a hold of, and it's really hard to understand. So take a look at that video. My friend Larry Toller, who lives right here in town, gave me several items, more than what I'm showing you here, because one of them I'm going to put in What Is It series. But he gave me this central micrometer. And you know, these central tools really are pretty high quality. I don't think this has ever been used, and it came with the pouch and the original instructions and all of that. So thank you, Larry. And thank you to Sam and the other people that are sending me stuff. And also he gave me another one of these Bernard parallel jaw pliers, which have been a perennial favorite of mine. If you don't have one, try to find one. Later they were sold under the Sargent name. I think Sargent bought the patents. I've talked about that before, but I doubt that's of interest to very many of you. Just the other day I received a package from Lee Fox out of Hiram, Georgia, and I thank you very much, Lee. But there are several interesting things in here, and he sent me a nice letter as well. But there is a flywheel, and well, let me measure it here. It looks like it's about 4 inches. Yeah, it's a 4-inch flywheel. It is aluminum, a 6-spoker. Looks like it's been around a while, but it's unmachined, so that's a nice, that's a pretty flywheel. Hope to see it someday in a project here, but no promises right now. Also in that box, Lee sent 2 cans of molybdenum disulphide. And there's a warning here, this stuff's pretty dangerous to read, but it's a superfine powder, and he was saying that it can be mixed with various kinds of lubricants and so on, so I'm not sure exactly what to do with it. You know, it looks almost like graphite powder. Very fine, almost like a dust. So if anybody's got any ideas on what to do with that, let me know, because I have about 100 lifetime supply of that. But maybe it says dry lubricant. Maybe it can be used just like you would use graphite. And then finally, in this little pouch here, of all things, there's 2 tiny, I do mean tiny, valves. Now I think that these are from Stewart models. And I'm not even sure what that thread size is. I need to check that with Train Man's taps. But there's one that's at a right angle. Look at that. And a straight one. Thank you, Lee. Those are cute. Now that disulphide there is a messy product too, isn't it? Joe Rabinski out of New Jersey, and there's his business card, sent me a real neat item, a mystery tool item. I'm not going to show it here, but along with the in the package here were samples of some of the bumpers that he makes in his factory, Bumper Specialties, and he said he just makes millions of them every day, and there's just no end to the need for these bumpers. And he sent me some samples here, and they're all sticky backed. You see a lot of these when you buy knockdown furniture and things like that, and different uses for them. So thank you, Joe, ever so much, and you'll see that mystery tool item in a later video. This is my Atlas Craftsman lathe. You've seen it a million times, but recently someone, I'm sorry but I forgot his name, sent me a link, and he said take a look at this Atlas lathe. And there was an Atlas lathe similar to this, but it was mounted on the base where the motor goes and all that. And this item was uncrated. The man died, and then another man bought it, but supposedly the man bought it from Sears, got it home in the crate, found out that it had no motor on it, got mad, just shoved it over into the corner of the garage, never opened the crate until what I'm going to show you in this video, and it was for sale on Craigslist. Whether or not it ever sold, I don't know, but had quite a bit of surface rust on it. But I thought this is just so awesome that you could find from the, I think it was 1979 or so, an uncrated Craftsman Atlas lathe, just exactly this model, other than the base. So let's take a look at that clip, which I filmed several weeks ago. This is a screenshot of an eBay auction I thought was so interesting I wanted to include it in my This and That series, and several people gave me the link to this, and so no one person gets credit. But this is an Atlas Craftsman lathe, brand new in the crate, but it was purchased like 1979 or so, and the man, from the story I heard, was so disgusted that Sears sent it without a motor that he never uncrated it. Now it is for sale for $1,200. Buy it now, and this is December of 2016, so no telling when you're watching this. But let's take a look at some of these pictures here. I really thought this is a rare find. If I didn't have so many lathes and this wasn't so far away, I would surely have to buy it. But there it is in the crate. It had been in a garage all these years, but it does have rust on it. There's a nice picture of it outside. And this is like the lathe I have in the basement, only mine is a table model. This one has the underdrive. There's the Sears number. No doubt this auction will be over, but you can see rust creeping in on all of the parts. Boy, that's a nice lathe. Mine was called a Sears Commercial. I'm sure this is the same one. I don't believe there's any accessories. Quite a bit of rust on the collars. Gears would be perfect. Alright, that's it. I just thought you people would be interested in seeing something like that, because that is a rare find. I'm sure there's not a single other one in the whole world that's still in the crate from that era. You know, you see these T-slots broken out like this fairly often, and remember that I was sent this brand new one here to replace that. Now this one was probably not broken by the method I'm what I'm going to talk about now, but this was broken probably by the Armstrong method, by somebody who didn't know his own strength. But what's happening here, and remember somebody just gave me this nice Walters table here, this rotary table. It's broken out in 2 spots. But what is sometimes happening is it's not just a matter of over tightening the nut, but when the nut gets tightened, if you're using the wrong kind of T-bolts or T-nuts of this design, and you think you're tightening the nut, well, I don't have a nut on that end. You think you're tightening the nut, but actually what sometimes happens is you're tightening this, and it is literally jacking the T-slot apart and breaking it. So be careful you don't do that, but you'll notice that on a lot of these products here, either the thread isn't long enough to do any damage, or it has those stops there where they crimp the thread so it won't go in any farther than that. And also be careful with these if you have homemade T-slots. Now this one has a short thread, and Sorolla made sure they knew that could happen. So they got the long thread on this end and a shorter thread here so that it's not going to go all the way through the T-nut. So just be aware of that, and thank you to whoever gave me the heads up on that. And I've forgotten. You know, I get an awful lot of email. I can't answer all of them. Next, clear from Canada. All the duties paid in that. A big box from Len Choniker. And let's see, what part of Canada is he from? Ontario. Markham, Ontario. But in the box, several things. I'll open that last. But there are 3 boxes, apparently unused, of wax fillet material from Master. They were the biggest supplier to the pattern making industry. And you've seen me use this, I believe, in videos, and it comes in so many different sizes. This is beeswax. And this fillet material and leather and other materials are used as well in pattern making to form the radius. This, of course, is a casting, but it is pressed in there with a hot tool. And he sent me boxes. Well, that's 1/4 inch, and then there's one here that's 3/8. Kind of dark in here. And 1/16, which is really small. It almost looks like it's just a little rod. And okay, and then I got to open the other package here to show you the last item. And thank you, Len. Thank you very much. And I know that you guys are spending a lot of money on postage, and I appreciate it, Tom. And then finally, Len sent me a roll of this material. It's called fiber racks, or fiber fracks, and it can be used to wrap hot metal in if you're trying to retain the heat. I think maybe line furnaces, and he said be careful not to breathe it, but it feels like fiberglass. But I don't know exactly what it is, but I guess it can withstand some pretty high temperatures. He called it a ceramic blanket material. Very useful for all kinds of heating. You might use it, for example, fold it into a corner shape to heat treat metal with a torch, and then fold it over to allow slow cooling. It would also make a good temporary door cover for my little gas oven that he mentioned. So this ought to have a nice use, and thank you, Len. I had never seen that material before. Fiber fracks is what it's called. Interesting product. I bought a can of acetone at considerable expense here for the express purpose of doing the vapor bath on Herb Blair's little flywheels here that were made on a 3D printer, because somebody told me, you know, I could remove that roughness. Now, I haven't gotten around to it. That's already 2 months old here. You know, I got so many irons in the fire here, but that'll be coming up eventually, and a lot more of that rust removal, which is really on the back burner right now. But that concludes this video, even though I got a lot more things to show you or tell you. It's running a little bit long here, and I would one last thing here. Tom, basement machinist, mentioned that he made a spindle thread protector for a South Bend lathe, and you saw me make one in a video. And he said that he went to where was it, Fastenal, and bought a great big nut. Well, I had looked in all the catalogs, and 1 1/2/8 is not a standard thread, but he claims he got that at Fastenal and then simply turned it down or just use it as a nut to protect it. So you can check up on that, but I'm just taking his word that those are available. But I thought that was a very specialized thread. All right, that concludes this video. This episode of This and That number 24. Thank you ever so much for watching. Continue to watch my hundreds, I mean 800 other videos. This is tubalcain saying so long for now, and I'll see you in my next video.